Welcome to 3/5. I am B Webb. I'm here with my homie.
Rad's in the building. Got my bucket on. We locked and loaded. Let's go.
We want to say welcome back to those of you that been following and been down. We want to say welcome to those of you that are brand new to this.
Yeah.
This is 3/5, like I said, but it looks like we got about 4/5. If you count the boy behind the camera, we got 5/5. We a whole man. We can actually cancel this job. We here with a couple of our homies today. We're very happy to have them here. We're honored to have them with us. So I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves. My brother.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. It's all love, man. You know, it's one of those things when B hit me up, I got a little excited. You know what I mean? I had to start doing my work. So honored to be here, humble. My name is Kenneth from Philly, frat, all that good stuff. They call me Doc as a professional. Basically, my work is around cultural diversity and helping educators recognize how policies impact MP student growth.
Thank you for being with us, bro.
Bless, man.
All right, Dr. H, principal here, Washington, D.C., 16 years in education. I probably got about a good 4 left in me. I do this because I know that my people need a voice at the table. So that's why I'm here, man. I'm just, excited you extended the invitation.
Absolutely. Thanks for being with us, man. It's funny. You kind of already got into a little bit of what I wanted to ask you both first. So I'll start with Kenny, and then we'll move over to you. And so the question really is around, why did you choose to be in education and be around that field?
Yeah, so for me, I'm a career changer. And one of the things that I did, obviously, as a professional, I was in reporting, I was in journalism. And I felt that the work was more ordained than anything. And I feel like I wasn't carrying out my mission, carrying out my passion. Not that to say I didn't enjoy it, but what I did enjoy my first job out of college was working with youth. And being from the inner city, being from Philly, and growing up in the hood, I recognized that the odds are stacked against us. But considering that I was one of the select few guys just founded our robbery, to have me succeed at that particular level. And one of the things I say, if I'm going to really improve my community, I got to be part of it, as opposed to just talking about it. Like the kids are jacked up, public school system jacked up, all this and all that. So as opposed to talking about the problem, be part of that solution. So I switched my career per se and became and focused more on education. And one of the things I focus on, again, is specifically black boys. As we see with black men who are successful, we made it out in certain situations, but that's not everybody's story. And one of the things that I recognized when I was doing my research is that 2 out of 22 black males who grew up in my environment, similar to environments we grew up, are expected to succeed.
Wow.
Let me run it back.
That's crazy.
2 out of 22.
2 out of 22.
Now, as I'm saying that, think about your 22 cats that you grew up in the hood with, right? And the 2 guys that usually make it out, one usually uses their brain and human capital, and the other one is usually the physical blue-collar worker. Yep. Wow. And the other individuals are those individuals who has been adjudicated, have been murdered, have been killed, you name it, certain time or a certain time before. So my goal and my objectives as a professional was to change that narrative. To change that reality. I believe in my whole motto, my mantra is more is caught than taught. I can say, hey B, hey Rad, do this, do that. But if you don't see me doing it, man, that nigga's
just a word. Yeah, it ain't about nothing. It ain't about nothing.
So my whole thing was just to be more of a mentor, individuals that can emulate to say, hey, he's from the same hood I'm from. I can actually do this. So that was one of my main reasons. Education.
Definitely. Doc, what about you?
Yeah, my story ain't that deep, but because I majored in political science. I majored in political science at Dell State, and I really wasn't feeling the politics world anymore. And so I was at a leadership conference because I was the SGA president, and it was this black guy down there screaming, "We're gonna take advantage of our education." Howard was giving away a free master's if you promised to teach for 3 years. Only thing I heard was free masters in Washington, D.C. at Howard University. That's all I needed. But when I got down there, I actually realized that although I'm not a politician, I'm still doing the work that I was committed to. And when you got down there, you got to see how African American boys really didn't have role models and they really couldn't read because that prison, the pipeline is real. So if you're not doing everything possible to ensure that our kids can read before they get into that third grade, they already building beds for us.
Yeah.
Right.
So how do you change that narrative? You got to get in front of it. So I was in the classroom. I didn't like the rules, so I was like, I need to get out of here. I need to go somewhere where I can be at the table and make the decisions. So now I'm a principal. So now I decide what sits in front of the kids. So now all of our texts in our building are culturally relevant texts. All the books look like our kids. So now they can relate to what they're reading. And so you think about it, we didn't have that stuff growing up.
Right.
What we read? Anne Frank, all that stuff, Shakespeare.
Oh, the pale faces.
Right. So you understand
Nothing
what I'm
about
saying?
us.
Nothing about us.
Don't forget Dr. King, though.
Right. Yeah, right. We get that one.
Talking about
Rosa Parks.
Yeah. So just the same, like, we got to change the narrative. And so I was like, you know what? This is the best way to give back to the community. Education. Because if you get them right, then you just building. You just building and you just building. So that's why I do it, man. I enjoy what I do.
You know, when you was many moons ago coming into this organization the proper way, you told me
Edit that out.
you wanted to be a principal.
Yeah.
You said that.
Yeah.
And me and all the other old heads that was around, it's crazy to see a black man say he wants to do something, know why he wants to do it, and then take the steps to do it and watch it become. So that's heavy. That's real major, and that's a story that our people, our boys specifically, our girls specifically, need to hear this. That hey, look, when you set your mind to something, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's it. So you know, it's obvious when you tune into 3/5, me and him just be going back and forth.
Right.
We don't script nothing. But since we got some people here who want to have some questions, but we didn't get them none of these questions, so they got to do what we do now. So I'm about to just hit them with something, see what's happening. Let me ask you this, and this is something, and what do you think our people lack specifically when it comes to the educational system? Where do you see the deficits at for us?
And then let me just add on to that. And then what's your mitigation strategy, both of you?
So I'm going to isolate them. Isolate the two questions. And basically, it's one thing to have resources, but it's another thing to have access. And I like what Doc was just talking about, is that he's giving them access to certain pieces of literature, right? My goal and my objective is to give them access to a black man and what that looks like.
Right. Gotcha.
So when we talk about changing the narrative, so I've been in one of the worst schools in the state of Pennsylvania, right? I've been in public schools, charter schools, taught as a college professor, and now I'm teaching at a private, affluent, independent school, right? And what's crazy, my first 2 weeks there, I had this stereotypical white girl, blonde hair, blonde, tall, stereotypical, as you could say. And she came up to me and said, "Dr. Waters, I didn't know." And she's in tears. She's in tears. I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "I didn't know this is what a black man looks like."
Yeah.
The places that I'm in now, where I have access to, are going to be the next legislators, are going to be the next FBI agents, the next state troopers.
Yeah.
So they pull over B or you, whomever, they look like us. For a moment, they were like, "Wait, I remember Doc 10 years ago."
Should be a different approach. Right.
And just
different
that
mindset.
different, that 3 seconds of just
Maybe that person isn't who I
thought they would be, right?
Because based on what they saw.
Yeah, so that goes back to that whole more is caught than taught. So from the access standpoint, I'm giving them access to what it means to be a legitimate, thorough black brother who actually could connect with them and educate them and so forth, right? So when you talk about the mitigation process, I'm assuming you mean how do I mitigate, clarify that for me.
Yeah, so you determine what African Americans lack, and then how do you meet it and say I'm going to provide?
Yes. So one of the beauties I believe that we as black men in here is that we have what you call a certain level of resilience, and we have that it factor, and that it factor no one has. How do you destroy communities? You can mess with a kid, you want to get but so far. You can mess with the woman, you want to get but a little bit further, but not but so far. You take the black man out of it,
black man away. Yep.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
So let's think about the systems that are in place to keep us adjudicated, to keep us oppressed, to keep us ignorant. And then what I'm doing, and my goal is to position myself in places that are changing, again, these narratives about what it means to be a black man. Mitigating and understanding that I can't come with you as Kenny from North Philly.
Right.
Sometimes I got to come from you. Hey, this is Dr. Ward. I know this stuff.
Right.
But then, as crazy as it sounds, I also got to drop their defense. I got to hear what they have to say, hear what they're asking for, and drop my little nuggets in there.
Right.
So I'm playing the game at the same time. Right. So it's attacking those systems, working smart, not hard.
Right. And the cool part is you never have to say Kenny from North Philly because it's embedded in even your studies.
Yeah.
So it's behind what you're saying, even with your doctoral background.
Yep.
So
H, what did you see that's lacking for our people in education?
I think a lot of times it is the resources, it's the knowledge, and sometimes it is the access in those lower income communities. And so when you have a black man such as us who walk into the door, I'm not the basketball player. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not the dope dealer. Wow. You understand what I'm saying? They say I'm the hope, hope dealer.
Right.
But what you do is you model for them what it is to be that man. You show them that, yeah, I can't get it today, but that don't mean I stop. You understand? You don't allow them to make excuses. And I think for a long time, we were able to do that because if you couldn't read, you would just sit back in the corner. As long as you was quiet, nobody cared.
nobody bother you.
You don't have that no more. So I think a lot of times parents don't get involved because parents just don't know. But you got to also understand, if I got to work 2-3 jobs just to keep food on my table, I can't be that invested in what's happening in the building. Right. So then the school community, now we do family engagement.
Yeah.
We offer workshops. We provide jobs. We provide classes. We even sometimes provide money. So at the same time, we are out here working so that our people have a chance to make it. But I think the biggest disadvantage is that if you don't have the access or the resources or the knowledge to even know where to get this stuff from, then you are not going to get ahead. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even if you think about it, like when people go to get loans or whatever, we don't always get the best rate.
Oh.
You could even have great credit and they'll still try to screw you over.
Actually, if you don't know no better.
And if you don't know no better, they got you.
They got you.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's about that knowledge. And so as educators, as black men leading our community, it's our responsibility. Because if we don't do it, who's going to take care of our people?
Wow.
So,
yeah, man. So Webb and I were talking about this episode, and really the impetus for having you guys with us today was really Juneteenth.
Yeah.
So they passed a bill and Biden signed it into law. That
fuck the bill.
Wait, for a second. So it's a federal holiday, right? But the burning question for me is, as you were coming up, what did you know about Juneteenth?
Nothing.
they wasn't no Juneteenth.
Okay, so then at what point did you know about Juneteenth?
Had to be an adult.
When did niggas get woke?
When we started getting killed, like recently.
So I learned about it when I was a reporter, and this guy that was in Philly was advocating for the city of Philadelphia to recognize Juneteenth, and that was his whole life mission. And this had to be maybe 2005. The first time I ever heard about Juneteenth. First time
But do
So
you
what-
think it's about where we are? Because the crazy part is we're all from Philly. So that if we had somebody sitting here who was from Texas or from somewhere around here, they might have a different response. But I get what you're driving at. Like,
Why we don't hear about an elementary school? We don't hear about a middle school. We don't hear about a high school. You only gonna
And
hear
even-
about it in college
even
if
that
you in African American studies.
Correct.
That's the only time you're gonna hear about it.
Because
So-
the curriculum is not designed for us to succeed.
Yeah, now all of a sudden it's time for America to talk about Juneteenth. Let's honor Juneteenth. Why don't we hear about, number one, they want to sign the bill about Juneteenth and let's honor it as a national holiday. Let's talk about why the fuck we needed Juneteenth in the first place. Why don't they address that issue? Well, like, our government has still not recognized and apologized to black people, every single black person that's ever lived in this country, saying, hey, look, we shouldn't have done what we did. White people were dead wrong. Why don't they just come out with that? Don't hit me with no bill for Juneteenth.
You know what's crazy is that we come over this whole Juneteenth. I look at smoke and mirrors, right? So you do this, but we still have yet to sign in law the anti-lynching legislation.
Right.
George Floyd that.
George Floyd, that.
Still ain't signed it. They
So
still holding
so what are you telling us?
that means people don't
Every-
agree.
No,
That means that there's
the
some
Voting
opposition.
Rights Act is still,
it. Right.
yeah, like, come on. What we talking about?
So then it goes to the fact, are we really free?
Right.
Well,
What Holmes say?
So
In prison
how do-
minus the bar.
So now with this, now that there's a focus on Juneteenth, how do you bring that into education? Because it wasn't in our education when we was coming up.
yeah, are you making sure your students know about it? I mean,
So I'm fortunate enough to work in a building with a lot of millennials, and they are really for
as your
this.
staff.
As my staff, and so they give our children the raw edited version of what really happens, and our children are really intrigued. But then they start asking questions, like, "Well, why is this so important? And why haven't we done anything? And why is nobody protecting us?" I remember it was a conversation with the fifth graders, and they said they passed the Asian law. There's no law to protect us.
Yeah.
And this is a 9 to 10-year-old.
Yeah.
So they understand what's happening.
And that was quick. They signed that
Right.
quick.
Right. And so
right.
somebody goes and, shoot out. And I don't know if there were other Asian killings that happened or if it came to light, but I know that it was a whole lot of black people that got killed, and we still don't have nothing. And for the kids to recognize that, like, the bill, okay. Yeah. The holiday, nah.
But I don't look at it as a holiday. It's just me.
They acknowledge
it's
What is it? They have remembrance, they have acknowledgement. What is it?
and something. And I struggle with this. What do we actually call it? Is it emancipation, the real emancipation, or is it the Juneteenth Emancipation Day? Just as we celebrate July 4th as the country's emancipation, right? And one thing I've learned working in these predominantly white environments, and just take it out of the race standpoint, we live in a capitalist society, a capitalist world. And if we look at the root of that word, who's capitalizing off of someone? And one of the things that we have as a human nature is that love and that seeking of power. So when you acknowledge something, that something is wrong, you're acknowledging that you were wrong. And you're acknowledging that there's a likelihood that you're going to lose a certain level of power. Right? So I'm not going to that soap opera box. I'm going to go back to your original question about the whole education thing. Again, we go back to one of the initial questions about that access. So in my environment, I'm fortunate enough to have autonomy when I'm able to teach. And we talk about access. So people say, Kenny, what do you do? I'm just kind of there, if that makes sense. Meaning that I really don't have a supervisor.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm in 4 to 5 different departments, and I create my curriculum on my own.
That's
So I'm in a philosophy and religion department.
Barry Gordy.
Hey, know, it is.
He knew what he was.
I ain't say that. I still get there on time.
Office
You know,
hours. 9 to 5.
But the point is that when I'm in the English department, I'm in the history department, I'm in the philosophy and religion department, I'm ensuring that our students, not just the black students, but everyone needs to know the significance of how this country was erected. Right? I just created a curriculum, Introduction to Cultural Studies, helping them recognize that how this country was built and who built this country and what is the primary purpose.
Wow. That's transformational right there. We ain't had that.
How does the country want to recognize the Emancipation Day? We ain't gonna talk about the original enslavement day.
And they ain't ready for that.
When the anniversary of 1619 came about, white people wanted to act like it never happened.
Yeah. You gotta admit you're wrong.
They don't want to do that.
But you want to talk about Juneteenth.
Anyway, now we're supposed to have all of these celebrations around here. How are you celebrating Juneteenth?
No, I'm gonna be my dad. I'm going to Philly.
It's all kind of festivals, bike rides, you name it. It's happening. And I guess it's because now socially accepted, governments accepting it, you know, everybody doing their thing.
I mean, I look at it, one of the things that we got to also be mindful of is, again, is monetized.
Oh, of course.
That's it.
Most definitely. Yeah. So, nothing against these major corporations who put all these Juneteenth paraphernalia out, but you're contributing to the lie that continues to exist.
Yep.
Right.
So we all have access to social media, whether we know how to work it properly or whatever it may be, but you can come in contact with a black-owned business.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I support this particular day is ensuring that my money is going to these particular organizations if I'm spending money. Right. You know, if I'm that's just the way I do.
We all should be doing that.
You know?
But remember they tried that. Remember it's like, oh, we only gonna shop here. We only gonna give our money to this. How long did that last?
Black people spent black dollars in black businesses for a black second. And we ran right back to the white businesses as soon as we fucking could. Man, but you know, but how do you not? It's hard for us. The black-owned businesses are the small businesses. They're not gonna get the same business loans and grants that the white businesses get. So when you go to a small black business, now you're talking about, all right, well, I want to get a T-shirt from you. Well, if I order from the Gap, I'm gonna have that T-shirt in the mail in 2 days. When I go to the black www.black.com, I ordered my summer tank top. I'm gonna get that June. I ordered in June. I'm gonna get it in October.
That's if the URL is working. No shade against them, but that's just
just what it is.
No, order that shit and don't expect to ever wear it. I mean
that's what it is.
And then if you get it in 5 days, you happy.
At some point,
you know what I mean?
Just looking like at least I gave something up. I did something.
But then how do we change that though? Because you know what I mean? I don't have a problem supporting black businesses at all. But it's just a certain level of customer service that people just expect.
Yes.
You know how H. I am an avid fan of Shark Tank.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And folks come on there and they pitch an idea and they say, I need $500,000 for 2% of my company. And they say, what are you going to use the $500,000 for? And they say distribution. How do I get my product into this warehouse? How do I get in the room?
It's got to be
where I can get in these distribution centers that can crank out and get into these big stores and get my product out there. That's what these small businesses need help with distribution.
But then
no different than the
it also goes
game.
back to a constant convo we be having of, well, we need the people that's in place to wear it.
Yeah.
Now I understand, Beyonce may go out and she wears black brands, but where's Rick Ross wearing it? Where's Jeezy wearing it? Where's Drake wearing it and saying, hey, look, this is what they want to rap about Gucci and Fendi and Christian Dior. They not the ones struggling to get in the place.
But that's the definition of their success. They gotta wear those labels. What you like to hear everybody rap about, I'm not talking about you in particular, but we like to hear them talk about money, hoes, and clothes.
But when The Rock did it and they said we wearing state property, everybody ran out wearing state property.
I ain't get no state property.
I had state property. We ran out.
I had it.
I made some shot.
I didn't process it how you processed that. I was in high school.
It was state prop. It was Wu Wear. It was Sean John.
I ain't never
it was what was the John Fat Farm?
Carl
it was
Canai.
Carl Canai.
Fubu. Cross color.
Cross color.
Right.
That's right.
What was the John New York? Walker Wear.
Yeah, Walker Wear.
Like,
and she's still out.
Yeah. They was talking about it. They was rapping about it. So they was wearing it. Now we jumped on this white bandwagon. We want to be accepted by them so bad.
Yeah, I just don't think people are not thinking about it like that. They want you to know how much money they got. And so that's why you have to be seeing in Gucci just in your damn pajamas. It got to be Gucci. You know what I mean? Because that shows you how much money.
Like, I think, and dads always get a bad rep no matter what.
Yeah.
But I think lately, I've seen the tide turn a little bit. Like, you got these organizations now. I can't even think which one it was. It was on social media. It's a black guy. I bought like 3 dad T-shirts from him or whatever. I know his name is Sean, but I don't remember the name of the organization. But like, that's the kind of support. Like when you're uplifting black fathers in the community, because we not all absent. Like we're in their lives.
Oh yeah. I bought me and him Black Dads Matter sweatshirts in the wintertime.
Wait, this is all coming together so perfect. I wore that sweatshirt coming home from Orlando, and the white lady comes up to me and she says, "I love that shirt." Then she turns around and sees my kids and she says, "I love this." And I said, "Thank you," both times to her. But as it played out for me, I said, "Oh, you expect
They
it
expect
to be the
otherwise.
opposite."
They expect
I
otherwise.
said, "Oh shit! Like this is a thing."
They expect it otherwise.
That narrative be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so. Wow, man, it's crazy, man.
Kenny, what about you?
So, I have a unique experience. Co-parenting and challenges with the court system, all the above, you name it. And challenges with the court system, all that good stuff. And at the end of the day,
Damn thing good about it.
yeah.
Damn thing good.
I'm a consummate optimist. We talked about that offline. So there are some things that work, some things do not. It depends on how you look at it. My goal and objective, since my son and his mother were not together and we were in different households, my goal and my objective was to be consistent. And we're a product of our upbringing. Good, bad, and different. That's just what it is, right? And one of the things I wanted to ensure was that he could depend on me. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. If I can't do it, I'm going to tell him I can't do it. But I don't even know when to tell him I can't do it. I'm going to explain to him why I cannot do it. So consistency and having real dialogue.
Transparency.
Yeah, and just being, letting them know that it's okay to be a man that cries. It's okay to be a man that tells you, "Hey, I love you." It's okay to say, "I can't do it at this particular moment," because we grow up with a certain level of moxie and machoism that we can't show our weaknesses. But I believe once you know who you are and where you sit, forget all that. That's noise. Yeah. So I wanted to ensure my son was able to, again, see someone he could model after, right? I'm not sure for you guys, but I'm the first one in my family to go to college. I'm not sure about you guys, but I didn't know anything about Greek life. I'm not sure about you. I didn't know anything about going get my master's, doctorate, and all that. So my goal and objective was to say, whenever he had a question, I was able to be his first resource.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pop, I'm trying to go to college. All right, this is what you do. I'm trying to buy a home. This is what you do. Because that, I didn't have that.
Our kids to go elsewhere for an answer.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And you say, no, you can come right here to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. So,
I'm the resource.
yeah, so that was my whole perspective with everything. And I'm fortunate that my son didn't, he's a good kid, he's positive, and considering that we're not in the same household, he knows me, like, we're thick as thieves, for lack of better words.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That he could talk to me openly and so forth, just because I established that foundation with him.
Yeah. How much of you guys' role as a son has, in your experience as a son, has manifested in you and your role as a father? And how's that experience transformed for you?
Yeah.
For the better or for the worse?
It definitely had to be for the better. I think, acknowledging what happened in your past and making sure that you avoid that going forward as a father, it makes you more conscious about how you want to raise your kids.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And I know, like, a lot of times we'll be like, oh, I'm going to give my kid the world because I ain't had that growing up. But then how do you teach them the value of whatever the dollar is left to value? But you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, how do you make them understand that you want to work for it and earn it? So, like, I think for me, it's about, you set the foundations, you walk that fine line of discipline. Like, I think it's a lot different now. Like, our kids are exposed to a lot that we were not exposed to. Now, we had different experiences growing up. So, like, we grew up around violence, drugs, sex, and all that stuff. Our kids don't really have to deal with that because we chose to move out of those places to give them a different experience. So that right there is a correlation where I lived in a house where it was a shootout right outside my house. I've seen 5 people get killed. But that was the norm.
Yeah.
I knew that my kids can't do that. So, like, you make those conscious decisions as a father, as a parent, and you think about it. As a son, you know what I'm saying? I love my pop. I love my parents, but they were not together. So I didn't have an example of what, a marriage was growing up. Like, my parents separated when I was, like, second grade? They best of friends now.
Right.
But again, you make sure that you take those experiences, good, bad, or indifferent, and you make the best for your children.
I think it's something there in what he just said. He said, you want to give your kid the world. Because that's what you always hear. That's the cliche term.
Right.
But in actuality, when you approaching it as a parent, you want to give your kid their world. Like, whatever you want your life to be, I'm going to help you get there.
Right.
I can put you on a path to be successful. I'm going to support you. I'm going to be there when you fall down, when you mess up, when you don't listen, when you tell lies. I'm going to be there. I'm going to give you your world. I can't give you the whole world because shit ain't realistic.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give you everything I can to do it. And it's just, wow, like, for me, being a father of teenage twins, the day I saw my twins face to face, I could already say I was 100% more of a father than I ever had.
Yeah.
Just seeing them one time. I did 100% better, 100 times better than my father ever did.
Wow. Admirable, good brother. Admirable.
Like, just being there once.
Yeah.
And it's wild. And I don't hold none of that against my father because there's no telling what was going on in his life at the time.
Yeah.
And why he couldn't be there. Maybe if he was there, I wouldn't be here right now. You have no idea. But looking at it from that perspective is like, now I got a boy and a girl, and now I want to do the same thing Kenny was saying. Like, I want to bring my boy and say, like we talked about before, I want him to know it's okay to show his emotions. I want him to know it's okay to be vulnerable. I understand that you're going to make mistakes. Your mistakes are expected. And the girl is like, no matter what, when you're a black father and you got a girl, you want to protect the hell out of her. You just want to wrap your whole body around her and just don't let nothing touch her. But it's more like, I want you to know that you're strong as hell.
Right.
Like, you got everything around you to be strong as hell. Like, your mother's strong, your father's strong, your grandmother's strong, everybody, your aunts, uncles, you name it, they strong, they right there. And so it's just like seeing that and being able to say, oh yeah, I'm doing this. Like that's a crowning achievement in my life. Just being able to say, oh, you know what? If my son has a question, like you said, if my daughter needs a shoulder, needs arms to wrap around her, I'm there to protect her. Yeah. Like, that's something that you can't take away. You can't undervalue that. You can't overvalue it. It's mind-blowing to me. So, what we usually do, no matter what, we have to talk about the black brands here. Okay. We got to do it. So, of course, you see me finish the bottle. Greenwood whiskey.
Shout out to Greenwood.
Cheers. We drank this. We had another bottle on a prior podcast.
Get you some. It's pretty good.
Jump into a black-owned whiskey brand. It's amazing. But we all got on something that is representing our culture. So, H, what you got on today?
You know, Diddy always coming up with these slogans. And so, of course, we already knew the Black Lives Matter movement. So, you know, he just made a design. I just copped the joint. Yeah. So I think now, you're older now. Some of the designers don't matter, like, for the culture
most
now.
Definitely.
So.
Yeah. We know you got the bread. You could buy it.
Y'all see we drove up in here?
Diddy probably sent them his
Wear this for me.
I'm paying you. Kenny, what you on?
So I'm rocking the heart of the city. My man Kenny Freeman and his partner Mike White, Premier Screen Printing, based out in Philly. Check them out. They got some dope shirts, some dope designs. Educators as well. Just trying to hold it down for them. You know.
Yeah. So me and Rad, we rocking. Not matching Jaws, we ain't go that
Romantics.
far. But Romantics. Yeah, Tawanda from Romantics, she hooked us up, so we most definitely are happy. We want to say thank you, most definitely. She hooked us up with the bearded before quarantine joint.
I need that.
Yeah.
I need that.
Bearded AF over here.
You know what I mean?
Free beard sticking out.
So check out Romantics on IG. Definitely check out. She got some dope stuff on there from men and women. So definitely thank you and check out.
Yeah, man. Yo, look, man. Let me tell you guys, happy Father's Day, man.
Likewise.
We definitely appreciate y'all. Go ahead, man.
So,
do your thing, man.
As we are all, like we said, black fathers. In order to be a black father, you had to be in some form of relationship to have a child. It's Father's Day. I got 2 questions for everybody at this table. What do you want for yourself moving forward? And what do you want from your significant other or just the mother of your children, whatever it could be, moving forward as well?
I think what I want for myself, like just moving forward, is just to continue with the ability to lead my household. I think it's one thing to be there, but it's another thing to be present. So I think
we'll be positive for another 2 hours.
So I think that's what I want.
Got 2 docs. Can the drummer get stuff? You know what I'm saying?
So I think that's the most important part for me as a father, and what I would want for myself. I guess what I would want for what was the second part?
What would you want from your wife? What would you ask her for?
For Father's Day.
For Father's Day.
She keep asking me, and like I really don't want nothing. Like,
not a gift though. Like if you want to be able to continue leading your household, what do you want from her in that same vein?
Got it. I think all I need from her is just support and love.
Support and love.
Just support and love, because I'm already outside fighting battles all day long. When I come in the house,
inshallah.
You're right. The war begins. In paradise.
Here you go. I am in the DMV. You know what I mean? What you doing, Nine? Why your phone off?
Listen.
Let me see your phone. Huh? Give it a work phone. You know?
Man, that's heavy.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Kenny, what do you want for yourself, and then what would you ask for?
Give him his phone back.
He want his phone.
That's what he want.
I look at it to continue growing as a father, man. I don't believe in being stagnant. And as educators, we recognize professional, whatever, and especially being just achievers. It's another goal to achieve. It's another step. Elementary, middle, high school, it's something different. And now my son's in high school, and his life, there was a statistic that said the older your child get, the less time you have with them. So as I go into this new season, as he's becoming a high school student, as he's playing ball nonstop and all those particular things, to ensure that I don't lose sight of my goal or my objective of being the best father I possibly can for him. Considering that our time will be limited, right? One of the things I said I'm going to do, and I do it now, is that every spring break, no matter where we are in life, I can be 50 years old, you can be 25, we always will go to the Big East tournament.
Okay.
That's just something that is consistent.
Something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to. I may not see him all year, but I know spring break.
Carve out time.
It's a carve out time. And I believe, and I'm sure we probably going to test this in some form or fashion, that we don't leave the intangible stuff for our kids. It's one thing to leave your will, your house, your crib, and all those particular things. What are those things that are intangible? So just keep me in prayer with that. But as he be transitioned to this high school level, how do I maintain that level of watch over him? But also allow him to still make his mistakes and so forth, and just watch over him.
Yep.
And then from whatever woman is in your life, what do you want from her?
Well, I'll specifically talk to his mother, and then the woman whom I'd rather date at a particular time. So specific from his mother is just the opportunity. You know, you got to understand that it's not Vanessa Williams type style. It's not drama. It's not toxic. But just still the opportunity and understanding that, hey, that every other weekend, that's not reality.
Right.
That's every summer, that's not reality anymore. And don't look at that as, well, I'm there such and such all the time, and you're not there. But just the opportunity and understanding that it's peace and abide, and she'll understand that. And from a woman that I would date and knowing that I have a son, I would say, again, just understanding that my son is a priority and recognizing that.
D, what about you? What do you want for yourself?
I'm not gonna speak on camera, bro. I'm dealing with some shit.
Yeah, but
I just, you know what? I just want to be recognized as my son's father, not just as a child support payment, or someone like his uncle that picks him up to play sports and shit like that, and do activities with him. Like, I need that respect that I'm his father, and that he carries my blood too, and he's a piece of me. Like, you're dealing with me when you deal with him at home, because I'm not there. And then when you take him away from me, you got to deal with me because he's there. He knows that. He's like, if you isolate me from my dad, I'm going to give you hell. Because that's my dad. You
taking a part of him.
Taking part of him away.
Definitely.
Respect, brother.
And then, so, I mean, I think you answered both right there. You answered both in the same. Right, what about you?
For me, I want new things. I think new relationships, new business, new heights in my career. I think about the challenge that my dad left me with. I never forget the day I graduated with my bachelor's degree. He said, when you going back and get your master's? And so my perspective of it is that it's never good enough what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And so the grind for me is what I want for Father's Day is more grind to do more and make sure I'm having a broad brush. What I want from my wife is just respect. Mm-hmm. And respect that I'm trying to take us to another level. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that makes the house uncomfortable. Yeah. So I just want to respect it.
I think for me, what I want for myself is the bravery to chase my ambitions. Mm-hmm. Like the things that I actually want to do, the ideas that I actually have, the place that my passion truly is. The creative shit that I come up with that I want to really do. Mm-hmm. That I put up hindrances to stop me from doing it. I want to break through that shit. Mm-hmm. I want to just go after it. So I can look at my son and say, hey, look, I tried 10 things. I failed at 8. I did all right on 1, but I killed the last one. Right, yeah. But now I've put myself in position to go back and revisit those other ones and say, all right, now I can do the things that I wanted to do. Yeah. Then what I want from any woman, period, and this is serious, value. Mm-hmm. Value me properly.
I like that, yeah.
Understand that I'm not a job, I'm not a salary, I'm not a degree. I'm a man, I'm a black man, I'm a black father. I can be a black boyfriend, a black fiance, a black husband, a black ex-husband. I am a man of worth and of quality. And I want the proper value. That's what I think is going to be most important moving forward.
Give it up for B. Webb Samuels. B. Webb Samuels. B. Webb Samuels.
So it's like this. For Father's Day, chase your ambitions instead of materialistic things. Yeah. That's a wrap, B.
That's it.
Shit. That's good, man.
I like that. Love it.